Arlington's police force launches a news porthole, which will serve as a hub for the latest updates and information about the agency's various initiatives, events, and incidents. Chief Julie Flaherty hopes the new site will be a go-to resource for those who want to learn a lot more about Arlington's police force. You'll find all the information about the news porthole at arlingtonma.gov. Participants discussed the reputational fallout of Lieutenant Rick Pedrini's comments printed in a police publication nearly 2 years ago. This after a completed study was discussed in a virtual community conversations forum this week, which was produced by ACMi. To see the forum in its entirety, simply go to the ACMi webpage at acmi.tv. Arlington Public Schools provide a virtual opportunity for families of color within the school system to share their experiences, questions, and concerns. All this to hopefully get one step closer to true racial harmony within Arlington's school community. You can also watch this fascinating discussion, which took place this week, at acmi.tv.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of ACMi News. I'm Isabel Laturst. As the rest of the world grapples with this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Arlington is generally holding its own when it comes to positive cases and the numbers of deaths in town. Even though the numbers seem to be generally under the so-called curve, the state in recent days has seen an uptick in coronavirus cases, and that has town leaders concerned. ACMi's news director, Jeff Barnes, talked to town manager Adam Chapdelaine this week about COVID-19 and the ongoing dialogue about race after a Black Lives Matter banner just days ago was vandalized in town.
Adam, is always good to talk to you this week.
Good to see you, Jeff. Thank you.
We have right now the positive cases is 319, 46 deaths in Arlington due to COVID-19. We seem to have plateaued. We've talked about this in previous weeks, but some medical leaders, given what's happening statewide now, are saying we should revert back to phase 2 because the numbers are rising statewide, not necessarily in Arlington.
So I would definitely not put myself in the category of being expert enough to know if the governor should decide to go back to phase 2. But I'll admit I have my own feelings of hesitance. I mean, I think you and I have kind of had the same trend talking every Monday where, my feeling is that we're not out of the woods. We're still seeing some limited community transmission in Arlington. We're certainly seeing community transition in the state. And, we don't have to look too far to some of these other states to see what's happening. And I mean, I guess I hedge towards preferring a more cautious path. I was talking with a few folks this morning and we said, really, if we went to a total lockdown for 4 more weeks, we could probably snuff this thing out. But it's just the balance between public health and economic health, which are both important. Right. But yeah, I think we're in a time where I'm very interested to see over the next couple of weeks how the numbers go and what the governor's reaction is. Because if he was asking me, he's not asking me, but if he was asking me, I'd rather he act fast than wait till it's too late. I'd rather him take what might feel in the moment like preemptive action, so that we don't end up on an upswing again any earlier than we need to be.
And medical professionals, and you have also in recent weeks said, look, if it seems like it's going to go high, or at least start going in that direction, we will always pull back on these phases. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the month of August. In other news, we had a Black Lives Matter banner, We Believe in Black Lives Matter banner in front of Arlington High, vandalized, according to Arlington Police. What have you heard?
So it was actually one of the select board members who called me at 7:40 a.m. The morning that we found it. I think that was Thursday morning, to tell me that she was driving by with one of her parents and saw it. So I quickly talked to the school superintendent and the facilities director to have it taken down to see whether or not we could have it repaired, and if not repaired, replaced. I haven't heard anything further from the investigation. I know they were looking into whether or not any cameras in the surrounding area might have picked up who did it. But I will say, I try to repeat the quote that I put into the press release, that I really just hope whoever did it, if they're listening, if they're reading the press release, but they just think about the hurtful nature of their actions. That, so many of us are trying to foster an enhanced sense of welcomeness and inclusivity in the community, and that actions like that just really go a long way to claw us back away from moving along that spectrum of becoming more welcoming. And then the second thing I'd say is, please read and educate yourself from objective sources. For the moment, for the time being, please, no offense, Jeff, let's not tune into the latest news media that's being aired. Let's educate ourselves from history, from reading well-researched, sometimes in-depth, it needs to be in-depth research on these issues. And I think when you do that, when you educate yourself on the history of our nation and the racialized nature of just about all of our institutions, it's really hard to not understand the need to say loud and clear that Black Lives Matter. And that when you say Black Lives Matter, you're not saying that you don't believe that all lives matter, or that you're prioritizing Black lives over other lives. In fact, what you're saying, or at least what I'm saying, is let's try to get on equal footing. Let's try to value Black lives at the same level that other lives are valued at in this nation. And again, you don't have to dig too deep to look at the history of our, the history of the use of force by police in this nation in a disproportionate manner, our housing policy, our zoning policies, our economic policies. They're all pretty plain to see that they've disadvantaged people of color in our nation for a long time. So to say Black Lives Matter is to say enough is enough. Let's fix things.
Yeah, you're bringing up a very good point. In the midst of this interview, as we speak, the body of John Lewis of Georgia is lying in state at the U.S. Capitol right now in Washington, and there's a man who faced a lot of violence in the face of police at the Edmund Pettus Bridge and other marches, arrested dozens of times. I believe his saying was "good trouble, make good trouble."
Yes, yeah, make good trouble.
So you bring up a very good point. So have you replaced the sign, or are you going to be replacing that sign?
I'd have to talk more with the superintendent. I believe the plan is to. I don't think they've fabricated it yet, but I believe the plan is to replace it.
To see our interview with the town manager in its entirety, please visit the ACMi Facebook page. Next week, ACMi will be airing a news special featuring a very special guest who has now become a part of our storied history. Clinton Hill is not really a household name in America, but he was involved in one of the most horrific events of the 20th century in Dallas, Texas. An event that was a gut punch to the collective soul of everyone who lived through it. Clint Hill would also become a casualty, living for decades with guilt, despair, and depression. ACMi's news director, Jeff Barnes, interviewed Mr. Hill and his partner, author Lisa McCubbin, for more than an hour via Zoom from his home in California. Here now is a small part of a fascinating interview.
Air Force Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, carrying the President of the United States with the seal on the side.
Let's go into that day now. You were in Fort Worth, Texas. It's kind of rainy. The president delivers a speech outside the hotel.
Mrs. Kennedy is organizing herself. It takes longer. But of course she looks better than we do when she does it.
The crowd yells, "And the President of the United States." And I can see his suntan all the way from here.
Quick flight to Love Field. I always found it amazing that Jackie Kennedy got red roses in Dallas. They were yellow roses everywhere else where you were in Texas.
Well, the yellow rose was the rose of Texas.
Right.
So we assumed that that's what it would be, that in Dallas they gave a red.
Then you go in the motorcade. I remember seeing a picture of you. You have sunglasses on. You seem to be on the left-hand side of the presidential limousine on the bumper as they're making a right to Houston. Take us through the next 60 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's true. That corner of Main Street in Houston, we did turn right onto Houston. I'd been up on the bumper because the crowds were so thick on Main Street that the driver was keeping the car on the left-hand side of the street, putting Mrs. Kennedy, who was in the left rear, right up next to the crowd. That put President Kennedy, who was in the right rear, away from the crowd on the right side. That's why he was doing it. And so I'd been up in the car to be as close to her as I could, and I finally got off when we turned right onto Houston because the crowd completely dropped off. We went into this area called Dealey Plaza. So we went the block, and it's a block and a half, I guess, from May Street on Houston to Elm. And Elm is, we had to make a left-hand turn because we were trying to get onto the Stemmons Freeway to go to the Trademark, where the president was going to make a luncheon address. Well, we had to go right by this building called the Texas School Book Depository. As we approached it, I was on the follow-up car right behind the president's car on the left-hand side. And the other agents were scanning all the entire area, including that building. There were 2 or 3 windows open on the side of the Texas School Book Depository facing us. In one of them, there were 2 or 3 guys sitting there having lunch. And in the other, you couldn't see anybody. And when we made that left turn onto Elm, the car had to really slow down because it was a very, it wasn't a 90-degree turn, it was more than that. It was almost like you were going to go back almost at yourself to get down to the underpass. And so we slowed down. We started out just barely began to speed up again. And I hear this explosive noise over my right shoulder from the rear.
You will be able to see this 1-hour ACMi News special all this week, beginning Monday, August 3rd, on the ACMi Public and Education channels. We hope you join us. Would you like to take part in reporting the news for your own community? ACMi gives you that opportunity every week, and it may be a whole lot easier than you think. Here's a report we filed during our pre-COVID days to show you how you can become a citizen journalist for the town of Arlington.
You may have seen us around town, ACMi TV news crews covering the latest in public, education, and government issues on a weekly basis. But if you see news in the making while we are covering other events, we would love to hear from you. The great thing is you don't need thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment, microphones, tripods, SD cards, and I don't even know what that is. No, all you need to do to get a good news story is this. Practically every smartphone comes equipped with built-in tools that allow you to completely cover an event that you feel is newsworthy. This is all you have to do. Open the camera app on your phone and change it to record video. Hold the camera horizontally. See how it matches the shape of your television? Just remember, don't do this, do this. When you're ready to take your video, hold your phone as steady as possible. You can slowly move or pan on your subject, or you can hold the camera still. Your choice. Make sure your video lasts longer than 5 seconds to say 20 seconds. Then, if you want to take more video, just hit the record button again. 5 seconds to up to 20 seconds. The shorter the video, the easier it will be to send to us.
Keep the phone steady. You don't have to swing it around like it's Blair Witch Project. Just keep the phone like right tight against your body and send us short videos, 20 seconds in length. That's really all you need to do.
Once you've covered your story, select the videos you wish us to see. And the easiest thing to do is send it as an attachment in an email to us, news@acmi.tv. But wait, before you press send, don't forget to tell us about the story, the proverbial who, what, when, where, and why, and we'll contact you if we have questions. Every Arlingtonian can act as our eyes and ears. This is your television station as well.
We're here for the community, and our whole purpose is to support the community and to create community. So we have our community here at ACMi, but we also have the larger Arlington community that we're here to support. So it's really important that we're all sharing and speaking and sharing our opinions with each other.
So, to recap, horizontal, 5 to 20 seconds. Choose the videos you like and send it to us as an attachment to our email address, news@acmi.tv. Oh, and if you really want to learn how to use our state-of-the-art equipment, ACMi can teach you.
Yeah, if you want to come in and learn how to use our video and audio equipment, if you want to come in and be a producer and use our studio, we have all the equipment and all of the knowledge here to teach and share with you how to make your own videos.
They also have the knowledge to tell me that this is a Steadicam holder thingy. I'm Jeff Barnes, Arlington Public News.
Are you interested? Do you want to know more? Just go to the ACMi webpage, acmi.tv, and find out. This will be year number 7 for Cheerful Where You Sit, the one-day outdoor art installation, usually held in the summertime. Cheerful Where You Sit is an auction of artistically transformed chairs and other small furniture items rescued from basements and curbs. Due to COVID-19, the event originally planned for last month has been postponed and re-envisioned as an online event. Here's artist Adria Arch to tell us about this year's event.
Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, it's that time of the year when we do the Cheerful Where You Sit campaign. And this one's going to be very exciting, obviously, because of the pandemic. It's going to be very different. So please tell us about it.
Yeah, so we started doing this in 2012 as a way to raise money for our nascent public art programming in Arlington. And since then, so much wonderful stuff has happened. But it was an event that I kind of thought up in a last-ditch effort to fund our first project, which was the mural on the Boys and Girls Club way back in 2012. This year, we are going to try an online auction. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the artists are going to upload, well, I'm going to upload images of their chairs mostly, although this year we did say we would accept other kinds of small furniture, chairs and other furniture that there are orphaned, we say, often found on the side of the road, waiting for a trash pickup. And a lot of the times this furniture is in great shape. Really nothing wrong with it, except maybe, you know, that family bought new kitchen chairs or new dining room chairs and they need to get rid of old ones or odd ones. So we grab those chairs and we renew them, revamp them with paint and creativity. It's really, really fun to see.
Yeah, because last year when I saw all those chairs out by the Uncle Sam statue, they were absolutely beautiful. And I have to be honest with you, Adria, some I'm sure are more beautiful than they were when they came off the assembly line.
Absolutely. I mean,
this is a great way to breathe new life into. It's an art form, furniture, and then you take it to the next level. It's great. And you say you are accepting more than just chairs this year, like an.
Well, we did. We said we would, and you know, of course, before the pandemic, we were all excited about really making this the biggest and best one we've ever had. You know, and then the pandemic came, and well, we weren't really sure if we were still going to do it at all. And then, you know, we decided the Commission for Arts and Culture, which is now you know, what Arlington Public Art is under the auspices of, we all decided, well, we should still try to do it and we would wait and see. And then we just, at the end of the day, thought it's not safe to try and do it outside, but we do think people would look forward to it. So we kind of put it back on there and said, hey, you know, people who are interested in doing this, we'd love to have it happen. So we have something for everybody. And we hope that, you know, people will come onto the web and look at what we have and get excited about bidding. So all the chairs will start at $115 this year.
Okay.
And starting bid. Previous years it's been $100, but we thought, well, you know, we do have to pay overhead for the different way that people that will honestly PayPal and Bidding Owl, which is the site that we're using. So we upped it a little bit. But we're hoping that people will get really competitive and excited about, you know, getting their choice and maybe, you know, paying a little bit more for it.
I think now, and the chairs, you are so right. They are so whimsical. They're beautiful. They're artistic. You have one that's the back is made of hockey sticks. It's almost like a cross between a Zamboni and Game of Thrones. It's beautiful. Yeah. Being a hockey fan, I love that. So I may get in on that. Give us the dates of when the bidding starts, when the bidding ends.
Yeah, the bidding starts August 24th, and it will be over September 7th. So it's a nice 2-week period where people are maybe coming back, you know, online and just, you know, ready to start thinking about, you know, a little bit of a brightening of their lives, you know, but some by a local Arlington artist.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how many people sign up. I think it's going to be very successful. I think people are looking to have their day brightened and the artwork.
I do too.
So
I do too. And Jeff, if they want to find out more about it, they should just go to our website, www.artsarlington.org. And the Arts Arlington website is, you know, your clearinghouse for all the stuff that's happening arts and culture-wise in Arlington. So we are a volunteer committee for the commission of the town of Arlington, and we're looking forward to having everybody go to our website, artsarlington.org, and finding out more about that auction.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. And during a pandemic, as we're all sitting it out, what better way to sit it out than on a cheerful where you sit seat?
Exactly.
I'm not going to say that twice. And we wish you the best of luck. Thank you for reaching out to us. And this year's going to be a little different, but like I said before, I think it's going to be very successful. And way to go. You guys do great work.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, Adrian. Take care.
It's worth repeating, some of those chairs just seem to look better than when they were brand new. That does it for this week's edition of ACMi News. To see the latest updates on what we're doing to keep you informed, just go to ACMi News Facebook page. We're constantly updating breaking news and other stories there. And if you want to see the latest on what's going on in town, including any COVID updates and the community conversations on race, just go to the town website, arlingtonma.gov. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Isabel Litterst. Good night, and we'll see you next week.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.